How can I thank you, you mysterious black-clad hunk of a night thing?
No need, little lady. Your tears of gratitude are enough for me. You see, I was once a badass vampire, but love and a pesky curse defanged me. And now I'm just a big, fluffy puppy with bad teeth.
I'm Joan of Arc. I figured we had a lot in common, seeing as how I was almost burned at the stake. And plus she had that close relationship with God.
And you are? Of course.
It was like old times.
Especially with Angel being here and everything.
Are you sick and tired of Christmas? Well, luckily I'm here for you because technically, even though I'm filming this in November, this will be coming out just after Christmas, just for you. I apologise if you can hear a whole bunch of cars honking and a whole bunch of people yelling outside. It's been happening all day, so there is no good time to film this. Sports, what can I don't understand it. I'm happy that people are happy. So in case you don't know, I've actually been watching both of these at the same time in order so that I've got the full story arc, and honestly it makes such a difference. If you haven't actually seen it in proper order, you should, because otherwise Buffy won't make as much sense, Angel won't make as much sense, and also just the emotions hit that much harder. So just a little pro tip for you there. Now I can't cover absolutely everything that happens because I'm boiling down 2 seasons of a show into one consumable video for you. So if I miss something, I don't talk about your favourite character or whatever, you can spend all of these hours and all of this time making your own video, because I'm sorry, I just can't. I want to focus on some particular things, but season 4, especially after the amazingness of season 3 of Buffy, I felt like season 4 felt really fractured, but not in a storytelling way, because I understand that they're going off to college and stuff and fractures happen at that time anyway, and of course she's split from Angel, but it felt like they were just sort of tumbling into storylines, and there was a lot of monsters of the week, in particular with Angel. It felt like they were trying to go in cool new ideas and directions as opposed to actually thinking the entire map out through, and they were building the Buffy universe at this point. So to me at least, like, town planning 101 is actually thinking ahead to the future, what your end goal is going to be, and that should be woven into the seasons. I know that you can possibly only get like 1 season, 2 season, you don't know exactly when it's going to end, but you can at least understand the direction. And it just felt like, in particular with Angel, they just went, okay, we're suddenly changing direction, and in the last 3 episodes we're veering off, okay, the highway is over there, we're going off on the dirt road. And it was very weird. There are some definite themes that I really find interesting that I want to talk to you about today, and that is the concept of the army and armed forces and the cops actually not being all that great. The concept of masculinity and evil as assessed through Spike and Oz. The concept of love lost and closure with Buffy and Angel. Willow's a witch. No, wait, a lesbian? Yeah, so we're going to be talking about witchcraft and lesbianism a bit as well. So those are the 4 themes I really want to talk to you about today. But let's just quickly dive into my nitpicks, because there were some things that just bothered me so much about this I really have to talk to you about.
I think my syphilis is clearing right up.
And they say romance is dead. Or maybe they just wish it.
Xander and Anya's relationship, oh my god. Genuinely, I don't care. She's got some great one-liners, but it's so toxic, and both of them are just, ugh, to me. The entire episode of Bear Bad, which Sarah Zed has already done an amazing video on. If you haven't watched it, I'm sure you have, but if you haven't, go watch it. Riley and Buffy, just Wonder Bread. This is so snore to me. I was just so not invested in their relationship at all. She really did just go to Wonder Bread, huh? It's also weird how sex is such a focus in this, in weird ways, like the house haunting happening because of Riley and Buffy like playing tennis, which I get is meant to reflect how people get into relationships and forget about everyone else, but like, what? And also how Buffy got manipulated by the nice guy who was actually a player, and how Willow called that out, but it sort of served barely any purpose. It got brought up a couple more times and then nothing really. It's just he's a jerk, and I think if you're trying to go down that sort of path, more could have really been done to show that.
Just how gullible do you think I am? I mean, with your gentle eyes and your shy smile and your ability to talk openly only to me. You're unbelievable. isn't sharing. This isn't connecting. It's the pleasure principle.
Angela's series is even more disjointed, with characters being added and taken away at will as they tumble into things, honestly. And also, I have an editing issue with Angel. I know that they wanted Angel to be darker and grittier and masculine. I really like the theme song. Like, I think a cello is a perfect choice for Angel with his like melancholiness, yes. When it comes to like shift in scenes or something, they do like this sort of flashing thing, and it's so disorienting. I can't even look at the screen. I'm gonna try to find one which isn't too jarring for you to include it, but it's obnoxious. I understand it's like Y2K. It's just, oh, I hate that editing style. And I officially like Cordelia now. Her character development and her character arc in particular over season 4 is amazing. I'm so glad that they got rid of Doyle and just gave her his powers instead. Doyle really was just a stand-in for Xander. I'm sorry, he genuinely was.
I thought girls were supposed to like pretty things.
Ugh, don't start, okay? Angel told us to meet here, so we're meeting here. But that doesn't mean that you can... That is so high school. Cordelia wears bras. Ooh, she has girl parts.
Take it easier. You're talking me up to her. Whatever you do, don't let her in on that me being half demon, okay? Because women get a little funny about that.
So let's get on to the themes which I picked up on, which I want to discuss. Now, we can disagree on stuff that actually works really well for my comment section. I know that we're all adults here, obviously, otherwise you wouldn't be watching a show that's aimed at teenagers. Duh. Let's just make this comment section nice. It's cool if we disagree on stuff. I actually find it really enjoyable to just see other people's perspectives, because this is art, and art gets dissected by different people differently based on their lived experiences, based off everything, basically. So I find that really interesting, but let's just not be mean, okay? Cool.
There's like regulation. You have to do those every morning.
No. Just a good way to start the day.
Right. Then you can have your perfectly balanced breakfast, and then you can call your mother.
There's a thing called the law.
This isn't about the law. This is about a little thing called life. Now, I'm sorry about your father, but I didn't kill your father, and I'm sick and tired of you blaming me for everything you can't handle. And you want to be enemies? Try me.
Law enforcement and the army. So this really is a bit like a mirror action happening, with Angel becoming almost like Bruce Wayne but without the money and power. And he's being a bit like Batman and is this staunch guy that just wants to save everyone. And then Buffy starts dating Riley, a battle-centric, follow them orders sort of guy. He really is just a basic army dude. And it's one of the few times that the armed forces actually get critiqued in a show, as well as with the police. The police like critique wasn't very deep at all. If you don't know the concept of propaganda, basically it's really hard to actually get shows done which involve the police or the armed forces or something without their approval, because they have to approve things in order to let you have access to the weaponry, to the sets, to the knowledge, to the expertise, to the machinery, to everything basically. And so in order for you to actually get that, it has to get cleared through them. So the fact that there is like some critique on this was actually really good. I was quite surprised at that, because as I was heading into the show, I was like, oh no, we're going to be propping up the army and police here. I got quite worried, but pleasantly kind of surprised. In Buffy, we've got our introduction to the initiative through Riley, Wonder Bread Boy. He's our stand-in lemming, you could say. They're hunting the vampires and monsters, then locking them up in order to do experiments on them, and lo, my love Spike gets caught and he can't bite anymore because he gets a chip in his head. Dang, I guess it's a good thing that Drusilla left him twice when she did, because she would not be able to handle him right now. Buffy, of course, once she's with Riley and their secrets are out after the excellent episode of Hush. Hush was so good. Can we just have a moment to appreciate this? Those villains were genuinely intimidating, and I think that a lot more could have been done with that.
We are looking into it. Go. Help maintain order. We will find an answer.
So she goes down with Riley to find out more about it, to see if she could be part of it. But the thing is that she asks questions and doesn't like to follow orders.
What do they want?
Want?
Why are they here? Sacrifices, treasure, or are they just getting rampagey? I find it's easier to predict their responses if I know...
They're not sentient, just destructive, I believe.
She's a loose cannon and not a team player. She can't be trusted, Riley. We want lemmings. Maybe Xander should have actually joined. By the way, how much are they going to keep leaning on the fact that Xander was an army guy for like a few hours in that like Halloween episode in season 2? Because they keep on saying that, oh, he absorbed all of this information. They just use it as a plot device too often in my books. They really lean on this, but Willow never gets any benefits from being a ghost for all that time, and Buffy doesn't get any of the useful benefits of being a princess. No, instead Xander is just I guess this is the only way to make Xander useful. Is that it? The only way to make him useful is to rely on something that he wore for a dress-up party? Anyway, as it turns out, they were doing these experiments in secret, hoarding these demons in order to create super monsters, and Professor Walsh tries to kill Buffy off, but her golden boy finds out. Oh no! Who'd have thought the people that were doing experiments and top secret work that were super armed and very secretive would be the bad guys? Who could have thunk? Wow.
Turns out it was me trapped in the sewers with a faulty weapon and 2 of your pet demons. If you think that's enough to kill me, you really don't know what a slayer is.
There is a bit of an out in the whole the army is bad thing, because those at the top apparently didn't know about all of this money and all these resources, this whole other section of the building, all of this stuff that was happening. They had no idea about it, and it wasn't even showing on the maps or anything. I'm sorry, I'm an executive assistant, and trust me, those at the very top table, they know exactly what's going on with every single little secret project that's happening, because they sign off on it, they sign the checks for it, they get updates on it. So that is complete BS. And of course in the end what happens is probably a bit more of a realistic take, where people are just paid off and have to sign NDAs and never talk about it again, never worry about it again. I mean, there's no actual justice that comes from all of the atrocities that were happening to make men into machines of like war, but this sort of like way out makes the want for justice that I always have a bit disappointed. But I guess it's more of an accurate reflection on the situation, huh? Because I'm positive that sort of stuff happens all the time. Moving on to season 1 of Angel, because we're in a mirror situation. Do you remember how Buffy's career test showed that she should be a cop? Well, let me introduce you to Kate.
You just looked bad. I mean, you don't look bad, you look very nice. I think I'm just gonna have my drink.
She's Angel's sort of love interest, but also sort of not, as he kind of has to be celibate after what happened last time. Now, Kate is interesting. I did quite like her. She's cynical and wounded, and wow, how perfect for melancholy, brooding Angel. Like, they would have really worked. There is one cop episode which stands out to me above all the rest in the way that it's terrible. So poorly written by a dude. So, shocker. He wanted the cops to be so sensitive that they couldn't do their job. We love furthering the messaging of toxic masculinity. People dealing with their problems makes them bad cops because they empathize with people. Oh no, how are we going to be tough on crime now if we see them as people? I really hated this episode, how therapy is shown to be a really bad thing, and there's no space for emotions or sensitivity in the workplace, especially not cops. I mean, shoot first, ask later, am I right? And Kate breaking down to reveal her issues with her dad.
You couldn't even tell a scared little girl a beautiful lie. God, I wanted to drink with you. I wanted you to laugh once with me. The way you laugh with Jimmy here or Frank.
What the hell I do to her in that class?
That's actually a really sad moment, but it didn't quite land as well because, one, it's kind of played in a sexist way where she was like the only one that really got humiliated like this. And two, because there was so much mocking of people's issues.
Old man's party wasn't the forum. She can't worry about protecting him.
Let it out, Dale. I always knew your mother was controlling.
I'm passive-aggressive. I'm hearing a lot of denial. She abused the process. I'm gonna tell her. That breakthrough?
That the only way this message really gets across is at the end when her father pretends that nothing happened. That is the real issue in my opinion.
You make an idiot out of yourself, embarrass me in front of the guys. You don't bring that up ever again. As far as I'm concerned, it didn't happen.
Anyway, Kate does bend some rules, but cops aren't seen as much as bad as sexist pigs in this, especially with their attitude to Kate and their close-mindedness, which Kate also suffers from too. Despite Angel proving himself, she sees him as one of them and dehumanizes him. Do you want to tell me again how being exposed to certain environments and ways of thinking doesn't affect your biases? Because it absolutely does.
Because there are some things in this world you're just not ready to face.
Someone who's not even a person lecturing me on most people, it's kind of funny. I can handle it fine. And I don't care about most people or what they think of me. What I do care about is ridding this city of your kind.
My kind.
Your kind.
It's disappointing as Kate could have become part of the team, but her bigotry prevents that, and also shows the real issue with police as a whole. The focus shifts mid-season to Wolfram and Hart, who have their master plan to keep the baddies out of jail. It's not just the ineptitude of cops keeping actual baddies off the streets. You know who's more effective than corrupt cops and systems? A ragtag group of kids who don't have anywhere to stay because they wanted to take their home back after evil has infiltrated. But the way that they were introduced was so sudden. It's like the writers thought about where they want season 2 to go and they were like, oh bugger, we've done Monster of the Week for so long, let's try and create some empathy for a whole new set of characters in the last 3 episodes.
You know, for some reason, I'm getting the impression you don't like me too much. Maybe I'm just overreacting.
The real evil being set up as mega rich, and honestly some of the lines in this still apply very much today.
It's not about good or evil. It's about who wields the most power. And we wield a lot of it here, and you know what? I think the world's better for it. What I'm offering you, Lindsay, is the world. Now, I know you pretty well, and I'm betting you're gonna take it.
It's definitely a bit of a trope, and we do have the corrupt mayor in season 3, but I am intrigued to see how this gets explored further, and if they're going to show less of a childish version of this and more of the actual things that rich people do in order to have control and exploit people. Like we saw rigging in court for an individual, but that's small fry. I want to see a network of evil and how hard it is to fight against it. Or maybe I just want to watch the next season of Succession. Maybe that's what I really want. I really love Succession, by the way, because I get a sick thrill from hating on every single character, but also understanding them. It's like a hate watch that I love to see them suffer because they're terrible people. That's, yeah. I can do videos on Succession if you want, because I could go on forever.
I don't think the forces of darkness are even trying. I mean, you could make a little effort here, you know? Give me something to work with.
The big bad is back. This time...
Maybe you just want to pretend like you're a regular guy.
Well, I am. I'm only a wolf 3 nights a month.
Or you're the wolf all the time, and this human face is just your disguise. You ever think about that, Oz?
The Concept of Masculinity, Spike and Oz. Now, I said I wanted to look at this more in season 3, but the emasculation of Spike is an important topic here, because his manhood was stripped from him effectively by being made to play second fiddle to Angelus. Unable to walk, battle-scarred, and worst, rescued by a girl, Drusilla picked him out of the wreckage. And how can he maintain power, especially within an ableist society? Well, he couldn't, as we all know. Angelus saunters on in and runs the show despite being a guest there because the alpha male makes himself known. In season 4, Spike, in order to feel masculine again, dates one of the popular girls from Buffy's school. We remember her, right? Like, I didn't, but she plays the annoying girl so well.
We are going. It isn't time yet.
Yeah, but as soon as we have the gem of Amara, you're gonna be so what?
But Spike is abusive to her because, you know, screw therapy, I guess. Now, no part of me is excusing him for the way that he treats her because it's horrific. I don't care how annoying someone is. None of this is acceptable by any means.
And then we could go to France, and I always wanted to go to France and stay in a chateau, and you could take me shopping and I can't believe you just did this!
Hold on. That's my gem.
Fine, if that's all that matters to you, then just take it.
It does firmly solidify him in the villain category again, especially after last time when we saw him broken and weak and people building more sympathy for him. But alas, he gets caught and a chip is put in his brain, which means he can't bite anymore. No more evil to humans.
This sort of thing's never happened to me before.
Maybe you were nervous.
I felt all right when we started. Let's try again.
Oh! Oh! It's me, isn't it?
What are you talking about?
Don't be ridiculous. I'd bite you in a heartbeat.
Part of me is wondering whether this was Joss's way of having revenge on the actor for his popularity, to make him into a wife beater so that everyone hates him, and then emasculate him and humiliate him, leaving him powerless for the whole series. Because this was the year 2000, remember? Toxic masculinity reigned, so seeing the cool guy so pathetic, weak and useless, episode after episode, is a great way to keep him around contractually, but also get revenge on the fact that the fans like him. But that's just my theory. Anyway, like I said, with Spike being so astute, he can read everyone and does get tired of them quickly. I mean, it makes sense, right? Because he's like 100-odd years older than all of them.
Willow may have had a very helpful idea. She seems to be coping better with Oz's departure, don't you think?
Well, she still has a way to go, but yeah, I think she's dealing.
What, are you people blind? She's hanging on by a thread. And Ninny could see that.
And you know, he's bad, but they treat him like he's a helpless puppy that's just annoying, which in a way he really is.
We can't let you go until we're sure that you're impotent or...
Hey!
Sorry, poor choice of words. Until we know that you're...
Flaccid?
You are one step away, Missy.
Giles, help! He's gonna scold me. Look at my poor neck. All bare and tender and exposed. All that blood just pumping away.
Oh, please.
Giles, make us stop.
I'm beyond pathetic. Stuck in this basement washing skivvies for a blighter I wouldn't have bothered to bite a few months ago.
Hey!
I mean, am I even remotely scary anymore? Tell me the truth.
Without power again, he becomes a shell of himself. He's no longer feared, which is how he got his worth before. And he feels comfortable around the group, but his demands go unanswered and he has to fight to try to be taken seriously again. He wants to have power again so badly that he'll work with the newest alpha male with a deal with the devil. But first, you gotta join my pyramid scheme, bro. You gotta do some work for me and the boys, otherwise you can't come in the club, okay? True alpha male style of 2022. Money means nothing to Adam, but access and power does, just like with traditional masculinity. Like, yeah, Spike is a vampire, he's a big bad, baddie bad, but there are still moments in the Yoko factor where his pauses aren't just, I'm getting ready for my scene, and more, I'm struggling with this, as he hesitates before doing something. Not necessarily in a, I'm getting amped, I'm getting ready, no, like, let's get hyped playlist. No, it's actually like, oh, I'm making this decision consciously. But what's more important, right? Like, the humans don't accept him and he can't hang out with the vamps because he can't control them and he also can't feed. Like, I get it is all I'm saying. He clings desperately to this view of masculinity as it's all he's known. He's unwilling to change, but also in a way he's trapped because demons can only be one way. Just saying, it's a great example of how toxic masculinity's effects and cycles impact people and how it's actually generational. But yes, I did really like seeing him and Buffy together, and oh my gosh, Spike in my opinion makes a great boyfriend because it's nice seeing someone want to give someone the moon. You know, I'm a sucker for that sort of stuff and Spike is that kind of guy.
How about a daytime ceremony in the park?
Fabulous. Enjoy your honeymoon with the big pile of dust.
Oh, stop.
Yes, please stop.
Gonna have to take a bit of time to get used to it, Pet.
They all will. But you guys weren't crazy about Angel at first either.
You weren't gonna say that name.
Sorry. Why don't we talk about where we're gonna register?
Well, where would Angel like to register? And can we have the photographer Angel would have wanted and the flowers Angel would have liked?
They a perfect little us.
I don't like him. He's insipid. clearly human.
Ooh, red paint. We could smear a little on the mouth. The blood of the innocent.
That's my girl. What are you looking at?
The man I love.
Can I be blind too?
He's not good or anything. I never said I had good taste in men. Now let's have a chat about Oz, because I got really angry watching this because you know how much I was rooting for Oz and Willow. I love them so much together. They were perfect. And then what, they break up because he gets distracted by animal magnetism? Oh, just... ugh. Let's have a look at how Oz displays his journey to masculinity, to being a man in a healthier way. He has been hiding himself, his true self, as is pointed out by Veruca. God, what a bad name, literally a warped.
You're scared, I was too. But then I accepted it, the animal. It's powerful. Inside me all the time. Soon you just start to feel sorry for everybody else. Because they don't know what it's like to be as alive as we are.
And locks himself away as opposed to embracing it by not growing up. As I spoke about in season 2, becoming a werewolf I kind of put akin to becoming an adult, a man in his case. And Oz has always been really measured about things, but this time testosterone of wolfy proportions gets to him and he decides he needs to leave to learn more about himself, to feel comfortable with himself. You know, by going to see the International Man of Mystery in the UK, I guess, and getting a big fat check.
Yeah, baby! Yeah. Ow! Kick your ass. Bring it on, you skanky!
Yeah, the real reason is of course Austin Powers, which I'm sure got him a lot of money. Instead of being animalistic though, he approaches things with curiosity, understanding and wanting to learn.
I don't know what Veruca and I have done. When I change, it's like I'm gone and the wolf takes over.
But before this, when you were regular Oz, you had feelings for her, didn't you?
No. I could sense something,
But you wanted her. Like, in an animal way?
And he feels like himself, but just more himself. He's comfortable and in control after all of the work he's done. You know, it's not quite as shallow as going on a trip to Bali and then feeling enlightened afterwards. It's like, no, he actually did a whole bunch of work.
I know what I put you through. And I'm not gonna push. But I am a different person than when I left. And I can be what you need now. That's what I want. That's why I'm here.
You've had this complete mind-body transformation.
But all that work doesn't necessarily mean that emotions can't get the better of you, and Willow is his trigger because he loves her so much. He's possessive, but you know, how many men display this that you know? But you know what? He actually recognizes it by being a problem, and instead of torturing her, he removes himself from the situation as he clearly has more work to do. There's just different ways of going about feeling like a man is all I'm saying.
I just thought I changed.
You have changed. You stopped the wolf from coming out. I saw it.
I couldn't look at you. I mean, it turns out the one thing that brings it out of me is you. Which falls under the heading of ironic in my book.
You can lash out against everyone like Spike, or you can actually do the work like Oz. Whilst I know that I give a lot of sympathy to Spike, it's very clear the better way to go about things, and actually being part of breaking the cycle of toxic masculinity. So I'm just saying, I really liked this exploration. Maybe I read a bit too much into it, but that's what I took from this season.
I need to be sure you won't get hurt again.
You know, it's a good thing I didn't fantasize about you turning human only about 10 zillion times. Because today would have been a real letdown.
Love, lost, and lack of closure with Angel and Buffy. Angel lurking to watch over Buffy to still protect her. Someone had a bit of a romantic reading on the Phantom of the Opera, didn't they, Joss? I mean, yes, it hurt, and it's cute how everyone wants to work to make sure that Buffy doesn't know he's trying to help her. Like, we can see him pining over her during Angel, and I cannot stress enough the importance of actually watching this show in order once again. I just need to talk about the episode I Will Remember You. because it broke me. The crossover episodes that happened here, I was so sad, and I can tell you because you can understand this, whereas my husband can't because he hasn't been watching this with me. So after I watched this, I was so upset, and Brandon got home from work and he could tell that I was sad. But what, you think I'm gonna tell him that I'm incredibly sad because like fictional people can't actually be together and he sacrificed like being human because he wanted to save her life and only he can remember their joyous times? No. He wouldn't, he'd just roll his eyes at me. But you can understand, if you've watched this, the pain, which I just want to talk about with you because, oof, my little black heart.
Cordelia, how are you?
Good. I'm good. You?
I've been better.
So Angel gets to be human again thanks to the monster's blood, and he and Buffy can finally be together without bringing about the end of the world. He gets to eat real food.
Chocolate. Oh. Chocolate?
All right, all right.
And they have all of our favourite kind of day, which is just a whole bunch of tennis and ice cream.
This is a dream. You're human for like a minute and already there's cookie dough fudge mint chip in the fridge.
God, I love food.
Food is good. This is the first time I've ever really felt this way.
What way?
Just like I've always wanted to. Like a normal girl. Falling asleep in the arms of her normal boyfriend.
And they get this feeling of normalcy, this feeling of peace, this slice of happiness and safety being with the one that you love, and finally knowing that nothing will tear you apart. I like going into this sort of thing not knowing anything so I can truly feel everything, and I really did. I was grinning like a Cheshire cat, but then also I had like, it's like there was a fly around my head that just kept swatting away the bad news because I knew that something bad was going to happen, because I was like, there's no way that we're going to get happiness forever. And we didn't. And it's like the flies became a swarm and I was crushed. The fact of the matter is, this can't last, and he has to give it up because, you know, he's a good guy and he has to do it in order for Buffy to live.
But it is not to be undertaken lightly.
We swallow this day, as though it never happened.
No. No, you didn't.
And if I stay mortal, one of us will wind up dead. How can we be together if the cost is your life? Or the lives of others?
No, no, it's not enough time.
We don't have a choice, it's done.
How am I supposed to go on with my life? Knowing what we had, what we could have had.
You won't. No one will know but me.
Everything we did.
It never happened.
It did. It did. I know it did.
And him being able to remember it all and having to see her treat him so callously. Ouch. Oh, this hurt. But it doesn't stop there, because you remember when I said that they shouldn't be together in season 3? Faith returns.
Do not approach her. She's violent and unpredictable. I'll take a few questions.
Listen to me, Faith. You're safe here. You hear me? You're safe.
And I also said that Angel and Faith could have worked really well together, in particular as Angelus. And I love his treatment of Faith, how he actually understands like the fact that she needs help. I really like that. I've got another soft spot for Faith because, again, association, I can get it. But when I told you that Faith needs years of therapy, I still stand by that. But when Buffy finds out, she feels betrayed. Even though they're a broken up couple now, he has to play the part for her own safety again, of just acting like he doesn't care all that much in order for her to not get close to him because he knows the risks once again.
I know Faith did some bad things to you.
You can't possibly know.
You can't possibly know what she's going through.
But of course you do. I'm sorry. I can't be in your club. I've never murdered anybody. That you would behind my back—
Buffy, this wasn't about you. This was about saving somebody's soul. That's what I do here, and you're not a part of it. That was your idea, remember? We stay away from each other.
Their relationship spats after this, like with Riley.
I have someone in my life now that I love. It's not what you and I had. You know what makes it new? I trust him.
You found someone new. I'm not allowed to, remember?
I really appreciate how visceral they are, like they really hurt. Plus, I'm sorry, sweetheart, but when you actually have Angel compared to Riley, what are you thinking with this bland boy over here? I know that she wanted her normal life, but normal doesn't necessarily mean boring, honey. But the thing is that they finally get closure, because she sure as hell didn't get that when you just walked away into the fog in season 3, did she, Angel? You're the grown-up here. Should have done that better.
We don't live in each other's worlds anymore. I had no right to barge in on yours and make judgments.
Still sorry.
Thank you.
And next time, I'll apologize by phone.
But we also get the reveal at the end of Angel season 1 that once he's met his purpose, you know, done his destiny, so to speak, his reward is to become human again. But, you know, after this closure and releasing Buffy officially, will they ever actually be able to get together again? Will they be able to live life together? So, yeah, that just opened up a whole other can of worms for me at the end of season 4, and now I'm just on this cliffhanger and I want to get into season 5 so badly. I also kind of want her to be with Spike, though.
I talked to Xander, and he said you didn't have a new guy.
No. No new guy. It's complicated because of Tara.
You mean Tara has a crush on us? No, you...
Willow the witch. Wait, now lesbian? So Willow is her own person now. She is confident, she is feeling herself, and I love how this is really explored through her wardrobe, because she's been experimenting for years and her style has changed all over the place, but now it actually feels like she is not putting on other people's costumes, she is being her. She's not dressing childishly anymore, she is just confident in herself. And I love seeing this. She is getting more into witchcraft, and she's got this real joie de vivre in season 4, and I love it. Again, I told you I love Willow so much, and I'm so glad I get to talk about her now. So she gets into witchcraft more deeply and joins a wannabe coven, which is pretty hilarious.
I don't know.
You guys like a bake sale, right? I mean, we need money for the dance recital, and you know I do an empowering lemon bun.
I mean, I'm all here for clubs and people being able to hang out and stuff, but it was very funny with her sort of judgment of them, because she is there for like learning, but you know, some people just want to hang out. Like, I get it.
You know, conjuring transmutation.
Oh yeah, then we could all get on our broomsticks.
You know, certain stereotypes are not very empowering.
I think that
one person's energy can suck the power from an entire circle.
But it is through this that she actually meets Tara, and I like Tara a lot. I can't even quite explain why I like Tara as much as I do, because she's quite reserved, quite quiet. She's not great in a crowd, but there is this real enigmatic energy to her. She can call BS on stuff, she can read people, and when she's in a one-on-one situation, she just sort of blooms in a way, and she believes in Willow so much. Again, I am a sucker for a good relationship where people actually want to build each other up. I love seeing that on screen, because honestly it's so rare that that actually happens. So I was really, really happy with them actually getting together.
How long have you been practicing?
Always. I mean, since I was little. My mom used to. She had a lot of power. Like you.
Oh, I'm not. I don't have much in the way of power.
Now, because Oz is gone, obviously, the heartbreak that she went through, yes, I fully understand it, but why were they, like, giving her so much trash for how heartbroken she was? I'm sorry. They wouldn't have wanted to be around me when I've dealt with heartbreak, okay? Like I said, when I said I was like Spike, I was like Spike. It's not good. Whereas Willow just sort of was sad. Yeah, I can understand that. Your heart was broken by a love of your life. Witches and lesbians have gone hand in hand for many, many years, honestly. But the thing is, right, Joss actually wanted to be able to make Willow bisexual, but you weren't allowed to do that back then, because I believe this was written in 1999, and so they weren't allowed to do that. So they had to have a transition to just be a lesbian. But in my mind, okay, I personally see her as being bisexual, or at least or pansexual, because the thing is that the relationship with Oz wasn't actually forced, it was actually genuine, and there is still the attraction there. So I don't really think that it was right for her to have to get put into a box. But at the same time, this is the late 90s and early 2000s when bisexuals were just hated by everyone. They were hated by straights, they were hated by gays, because they were just out to steal everyone. So you can't trust a bisexual if you're in a relationship with, you know, the opposite sex, because they could go after anyone. It's just, oh. Anyway, if you want more details on anything like that, go to the channel Verily Bitchy. I mention them all the time because you should really subscribe to their work. It's amazing. But yeah, bisexual erasure is definitely the thing. They get Willow to go down the lesbian path, but it didn't feel forced to me as well. It didn't feel objectifying. It didn't feel fetishistic, however you say that. Their connection is actually very genuine, and again, censorship, because guess what, they weren't actually allowed to show anything sexual because you're not allowed to when it comes to lesbians. So instead they use magic and spells, which does make sense as to why the shots of all of that was as erotic as it was, because I was like, whoa, okay, I think I've just walked into a different room, because I thought they were just casting a spell and it's never been like this before, because it's standing in for that. So in case you were also wondering what's happening, that's how Joss got around it, is with witchcraft, okay? Cool. But also, as did happen quite a bit with lesbians, maybe it's kind of a good thing that they weren't allowed to have, you know, Charlie XCX on screen, because I could just see it ending up like Xander's fantasy the whole time otherwise. So maybe that helped in the earlier seasons, as they were trying to get the boundaries pushed a bit more. So maybe, I don't know, I wanted to talk to you about that. Witches in the LGBTQ+ community have been linked for ages, particularly for lesbians, to sort of have a haven against hegemony, which I really appreciate, and I also like how this relationship doesn't feel forced.
Tara, I have to tell you.
No, I understand. You have to be with the person you love.
I am.
It's been really interesting to see how that's actually been getting portrayed with witches, and that sort of empowerment with, even though they're separating themselves, they're getting more powerful as they're becoming their truer selves, at least especially for Willow. So yeah, I'm really keen to see how season 5 goes now after watching this. I'm just excited is all I'm saying, because hopefully they'll get more of a sure footing after this, because yeah, a lot of it was very much like a bunch of sticks had just been dropped down and they were just grabbing at straws. But as I said before, I'm very keen to hear your thoughts, so tell me, what do you think down below? Because do you agree with me? Do you disagree with me? Like I said, we can have respectful conversations here. I hope that you enjoyed this video. It will have taken a very long time to make, but at the same time, doesn't matter because not many people are watching this, right? Now I'm gonna be going back to 3 videos a month as soon as I can, because summertime, too hot, and it's the only time of year that we can really get stuff done around the house and outside, because normally in Aotearoa it's just raining in winter. So yeah, we're going to be taking advantage of that. And don't forget to subscribe and give this video a like. I hope that you love this. Have a wonderful new year, because I think this video is coming out just before New Year. It's November right now, so luck favours the prepared. So yeah, I'll see you again next time. Take care. Bye.
Face punching. I'm not so good with the whole
Swimming?
violence.
Oh, you mean the camo and stuff? I thought about it, but to me it's gonna look all Private Benjamin.
Willow, tell them what I did.
You said you were gonna kill me, then Buffy.
Yes, bad, but let's skip that part and get to the part where I couldn't bite you.
It's true. He had trouble performing.
Not to mention daily slayage of... Wow.
It's no big, really. Hey, who wants ice cream?
Oh, I love you, Miss Kitty Fantastico.
We've got to get her a real name.
It's so cool that she's ours.
Came in and you killed them and you took their land. That's what conquering nations do. That's what Caesar did. And he's not going around saying, I came, I conquered, I felt really bad about it. The history of the world is not people making friends. You had better weapons, and you massacred them. End of story.
Look at him. Very diggy.
Who's a little fear demon? Come on. Who's a little fear demon?
You played the bloodlust kind of cool.
I hate being obvious. All fangy and takes the mystery out.
See, you can save the damsel and make decent money. Is this a great country or what?
And I don't need you to complete me. And you're mean.
That is not appropriate. It's for killing extinct demons. Angel, make her stop.
Cordelia.
That blade is very old. Who knows what kind of corrosive effect her cooking may have on it?
Corrosive effect?
Cordelia, just put down the very sharp knife.
Well, they don't smell right.
I think Mr. Too Much Cologne is the pot calling the kettle stinky.
Whereas the name Buffy gives it that touch of classic elegance.
What's wrong with Buffy?
Such a good question.
Maybe the demons have something to do with Giles being blind.
Giles is blind.
Stop whatever you're doing. You smell like fruit roll-ups.
You're a pig, Spike.
Yeah. Well, I'm not the one who wanted wind beneath my wings for the first dance.
That was the spell.
Like I'd bite you anyway.
Oh, you would.
Not bloody likely.
I happen to be very biteable, pal. I'm moist and delicious.
All right, yeah, fine. You're a nummy treat.
And don't you forget it.